right, we are on page 5 of your digital notebook. First question, how did the region's geography affect Kush? You're going to find that answer in this circled yellow text, so let's go ahead and listen.
How did Kush develop? Like Egypt, Kush had an ancient culture. Kush's geography was similar to Egypt's in some ways and different in others. How did geography affect Kush? Kush lay in the upper Nile Valley, where rainfall was higher than in Egypt, and land for farming and raising cattle stretched beyond the riverbanks. Like Egypt, however, Kush's farmers depended on the Nile and its annual floods. Their farming methods generated a surplus, though a smaller one than Egypt's. This surplus supported cities with artisans and merchants. However, the Nile's cataracts lay within Kush. While Egyptians used boats, cataracts made it impossible to travel very far by boat in Kush. Instead, people had to travel on foot through the rugged desert. Another difference from Egypt was that the Kushites had much less land to farm. As a result, the Kushites were sometimes short of food. This made them eager to trade gold, iron, and other products for Egypt's grain. Kush was also in closer contact than Egypt with the peoples of Africa south of the Sahara. The Kushites traded goods and ideas with these peoples just as they did with the Egyptians.
All right, let's pause that. How did the region's geography affect Kush? You'll find that answer in this circled yellow paragraph. Next question, what do scholars use to learn about Kush? You're going to find that answer in this green circled paragraph. Let's go ahead and listen now.
How do we know about Kush? Scholars have used both historical records and archaeological evidence to learn about Kush. Written records in Egypt document trade with Kush. They also describe a powerful kingdom in Kush modeled on the kingdom of Egypt. Some of the evidence of trade with Egypt comes from archaeology. Archaeologists have also found that the Kushites and Egyptians both saw kings as gods. This idea was common in Africa and may have come to Egypt through Kush.
Number 2, what do scholars use to learn about Kush? You'll find that answer in this green highlighted paragraph. Page 6 of your digital notebook, we're going to click next to go to the next page in the e-text. The first question, how did the Egyptians find out that Kush had a lot of resources, including gold? You're going to find that answer in this first paragraph that's going to be read to you.
Kush and Egypt. Through trade, the Egyptians discovered that Kush was rich in resources, including gold. The Egyptians realized that the more gold they had, the more wood and other resources they could buy from the eastern Mediterranean.
All right, again, how did the Egyptians find out that Kush had a lot of resources, including gold? You'll find the answer in this blue highlighted paragraph. Number 2, when did Egypt conquer most of Kush? You'll find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph.
Egypt conquers Kush. Egypt conquered most of Kush for a time during the Middle Kingdom and then again during the New Kingdom. The conquered Kushites had to pay tribute to the pharaoh. 1 year's tribute to the pharaoh, Thutmose III, included hundreds of pounds of gold, cattle, ivory, and ostrich feathers from Kush. Kush also gave Egypt enslaved people as part of its tribute. After the rule of Ramses II, Egypt weakened and the New Kingdom ended. Rival leaders in different cities fought for control of Egypt. Meanwhile, Kush became an independent kingdom ruled by Kushite kings.
Number 2, when did Egypt conquer most of Kush? You'll find the answer in this pink highlighted paragraph. Number 3, Kush conquered what kingdom? You'll find that in this yellow circled paragraph.
Kush conquers Egypt. In the mid-700s BCE, a Kushite king conquered the Egyptian city of Thebes. The next ruler of Kush, a king named Pia or Pianki, expanded the Kushite empire by conquering one Egyptian city after another. Finally, Pia declared himself pharaoh of a united Egypt and Kush. Primary source. O mighty, mighty ruler, Pianki, O mighty ruler, you come, having gained the dominion of the Northland. You are unto eternity. Your might endures, O ruler, beloved of Thebes. Inscription from the Victory Monument of Pia, translated by James Henry Breasted. Pharaohs from Kush ruled Egypt for almost 100 years. Kushite rulers promoted the traditional Egyptian ways that they had learned under earlier pharaohs. They built temples to honor Kushite and Egyptian gods. At the same time, the Kushites created painted pottery and other distinctive works of art. The rulers from Kush might have ruled Egypt longer if they had not tried to expand their power. They went to war with the Assyrians, skillful warriors who had recently conquered the Fertile Crescent. Assyrian troops invaded Egypt around 665 BCE. After losing many battles, the Kushites retreated from Egypt back to Kush.
Number 3, Kush conquered what kingdom? You'll find that answer in this yellow circled paragraph. All right, let's move on to page 7. You'll see 2 mastery check questions. We're going to click next one time to go to our next and last page. You'll see the first, and kind of a long page. The first answer is going to be at the bottom of this reading. The question is, which represents one of the world's first alphabets? Let's go ahead and listen.
What were Kush's accomplishments? Kush remained a highly developed civilization for almost 1,000 years after it lost Egypt. It developed its own system of writing, economy, and government. Independent Kush. In 591 BCE, the Egyptians destroyed Napata, the capital of Kush. The Kushites moved their capital south to the city of Meroe, which was easier to defend. Meroe was also located near iron deposits and on a trade route from Central Africa. This region received more rain than did most of Kush. This rain supported the growth of wood that the Kushites could burn to smelt or melt out iron from a rock called iron ore. The Kushites turned Meroe into Africa's first iron-working center. Kush's iron tools and weapons were much stronger than Egypt's soft bronze tools. The Kushites continued to make jewelry and other beautiful objects from their gold. The Kushites built hundreds of pyramids at Napata and Meroe. These pyramids were built at a steep angle. The pyramids held the tombs of the kings and the queen mothers of Kush. The queen mothers of Kush are also known by their Roman name, Candaces. Candaces remained powerful, sometimes more powerful than kings, throughout the history of Kush. The Kushites created the Meroitic script, one of the world's first alphabets. Scholars have learned to read this alphabet, but still don't understand the words of the Meroitic language written in it.
Whoops, sorry. Number 1. Which represents one of the world's first alphabets? You will find that answer in this circled paragraph. Number 2, Kush is best remembered for what? We're going to have the rest of this read to us, and when you get to these 2 circled paragraphs, you will find the answer for Kush is best remembered for what?
Kush's links to Africa and the world. Kush played an important role in ancient Africa. The kingdom may have controlled an area larger than the Egyptian Empire. Kush had advanced ironworking technology. The Kushites traded iron goods, cloth, and gold with other African peoples. In return, the Kushites bought ebony and ivory from East and Central Africa. The Kushites also sold slaves from other parts of Africa to the Egyptians. The Kushites also traded with Greek and Roman Egypt. Kushites sold ebony, ivory, gold, and iron goods and bought grains and cloth in Egypt. The Kushites used irrigation to grow more food for their busy cities, but they still had to trade to meet some of their need for food. The ancient Greeks and Romans knew the Kushites for their metalworking skills, and they valued Kushite iron tools and weapons. Ports on the Red Sea allowed the Kushites to trade with countries as far away as India. By the 200s CE, war with the Roman Empire, which controlled Egypt, had weakened Kush. Meanwhile, desert peoples raided Kush's cities and disrupted its trade. Finally, in the 300s, Kush was conquered by the kingdom of Aksum, centered in the present-day country of Ethiopia to the southeast. Throughout its history, Kush had linked Africa south of the Sahara with other ancient civilizations. The Kushites created patterns of trade and farming that continued after the conquest by Aksum. These traditions have continued in the region to this day.
Number 2, Kush is best remembered for what? You will find the answer in these 2 circled yellow paragraphs.